Welcome back to Realm of Speed. Some trucks are remembered for what they could do when they were new. These trucks are remembered because decades later, they're still doing it. Today, we're looking at the toughest trucks ever made. Not the fastest, not the fanciest, and not necessarily the most powerful. This is about the trucks that built a reputation for durability, long-term dependability, and the kind of toughness owners still talk about years later. And just to be clear, this isn't about saying these trucks were perfect. Every truck has weak points, but the ones on this list earned respect by lasting through hard work, high miles, rough roads, and years of real-world use. We're also going older to newer, so you can see how truck toughness evolved over time. Let's get into it. 1973 to 1987, Chevrolet C and K square body. The square body Chevy is one of the first trucks that comes to mind when people talk about old-school toughness. These trucks were simple, rugged, and built in a time when durability mattered more than screens, drive modes, or luxury features. Whether it was on a farm, at a job site, or hauling firewood every weekend, the square body earned a reputation for being dependable and easy to keep on the road. A big part of that came down to simplicity. The engines were straightforward, the chassis was durable, and repairs were usually something owners or local mechanics could actually handle without major headaches. From an ownership standpoint, that matters. A tough truck is not just one that can take abuse. It is one that can keep serving the customer without becoming complicated or expensive to maintain. Now, that does not mean these trucks were flawless. Rust has claimed a lot of them, and by now, age alone is a major factor. But if we are talking about trucks that proved they could take abuse and keep going, the square body absolutely belongs here. 1980 to 1996, Ford F-Series with the 4.9-liter inline-six. If there is one gas truck powertrain that has earned a reputation for being nearly unkillable, it is Ford's 4.9-liter inline-six. This engine was never about speed. Nobody bought one because it was exciting. They bought it because it started, worked, and kept working. That is really the story of this truck: honest durability. The F-Series was already a staple of American truck life, but the 4.9-liter helped give it a long-term dependability reputation that still gets talked about today. Owners appreciated these trucks because they were simple, durable, and built for real work. And from a customer care perspective, this is the kind of truck that made ownership feel predictable. It was not trying to impress with complexity. It just delivered steady, reliable service year after year. Of course, age, rust, and neglect matter now. But when people talk about tough gas-powered trucks, this one always seems to come up, and for good reason. 1988 to 1998, Chevrolet C/K 1500. Next up is the 1988 to 1998 Chevrolet C/K 1500, a truck that helped carry Chevy's toughness reputation into a more modern era. These trucks kept a lot of that old-school durability, but added more comfort and everyday usability. For a lot of owners, that balance is exactly what made them special. They were tough enough to work hard, but easy enough to live with every day. They also earned respect for being relatively straightforward to repair, with strong parts availability and a layout that was not overly complicated. That matters more than people sometimes realize. A truly tough truck is not only one that avoids failure, it is also one that can be fixed without turning ownership into a financial headache. That kind of owner-friendliness is part of what gives a truck a long life. Yes, these trucks had their issues, and today, condition matters a lot. But in terms of reputation, they remain one of the classic examples of a durable American half-ton. 1989 to 1993, Dodge Ram Cummins. Then we get to a truck that changed the diesel pickup world. The first-generation Dodge Ram with the 5.9-liter Cummins. This truck's legend starts with the engine. The Cummins diesel gave Dodge a level of credibility and toughness and longevity that instantly changed how people looked at heavy-duty pickups. These trucks were not refined. And they were not built to pamper the driver. But that was almost part of the appeal. They felt mechanical, serious, and purpose-built. For owners who cared about long-term durability, towing strength, and an engine with a reputation for going the distance, the Cummins Ram became a major standout. It was the kind of truck people bought with the expectation that it could outlast almost everything around it. Now, that does not mean the whole truck was indestructible. Some versions had weaknesses outside the engine, and the driving experience was definitely more work truck than comfort truck. But toughness was never the question here. This truck earned its place the hard way. 1993 to 2011 Ford Ranger. The Ford Ranger is proof that a truck does not have to be huge to be tough. For years, the Ranger built a reputation as a compact pickup that could take abuse far beyond what its size might suggest. These trucks became favorites for commuters, small business owners, first-time truck buyers, and people who just wanted something simple and dependable. One reason the Ranger lasted so long is because it stayed true to what a lot of customers actually wanted: reasonable size, manageable costs, useful capability, and durability that made ownership feel low stress. That customer care side really matters here. A tough truck is not only about surviving punishment, it is also about being the kind of vehicle owners can count on without feeling constantly punished by repairs, complexity, or upkeep. The Ranger was never flashy, but that was part of its strength. It kept showing up, kept doing the job, and built one of the strongest reputations in the compact truck world. 1995 to 2004, Toyota Tacoma. If there is one mid-size truck name that has become almost synonymous with durability, it is the Toyota Tacoma. The first-generation Tacoma built a reputation that went far beyond simple brand loyalty. These trucks became known for lasting a very long time, holding their value, and staying useful even after years of hard driving. A lot of owners loved the Tacoma because it offered that rare combination of toughness and day-to-day livability. It was capable enough for work and adventure, but also easy to live with, easy to trust, and generally known for low ownership drama. From a customer perspective, that is a big deal. Reliability is one thing, but confidence is another. The Tacoma became the kind of truck people recommended to friends and family because it had earned that trust. That said, no truck is perfect, and some issues absolutely existed. But in the larger conversation about pickups that built a lasting reputation for toughness, the Tacoma is impossible to ignore. 1999 to 2003 Ford Super Duty with the 7.3 Power Stroke. When people talk about diesel truck legends, the 7.3-liter Power Stroke is almost always part of the conversation. In the Ford Super Duty, this engine helped create one of the most respected heavy-duty truck combinations of its era. These trucks were built to work, and they looked and felt like it. There was nothing delicate about them. Part of what makes the 7.3 so respected is that it built its reputation in real service: towing, hauling, fleet use, and high-mileage ownership. It became known as the kind of powertrain people trusted when they needed a truck to do serious work for a long time. And again, from the customer side, trust is a huge part of the story. Owners are willing to forgive a lot when a truck consistently delivers on the job it was bought to do. That is how reputations like this are built. These trucks are older now, and condition matters a lot. Maintenance history matters too. But if the question is toughness, the 7.3 Super Duty has earned permanent respect. 1999 to 2006 Chevrolet Silverado and GMC Sierra GMT 800. Now we get to the GMT 800, and this truck absolutely deserves to be here. For a lot of people, the GMT 800 platform represents one of the best blends of modern comfort and old-school durability. These trucks were more refined than the pickups that came before them, but they still kept a lot of the mechanical simplicity that helps a truck age well. That balance is a big reason owners still think so highly of them. You could use one as a daily driver, a work truck, a tow vehicle, or all three, and in many cases, they held up remarkably well. The available V8 engines, broad parts support, and overall owner familiarity helped make these trucks very serviceable over the long term. And from a customer care perspective, that matters. A truck that stays useful and affordable to maintain creates a much better ownership experience. No truck is perfect. Rust, age, and certain common issues are part of the story. But the GMT 800 has one of the strongest durability reputations of the modern half-ton era. And that is exactly why it belongs on this list. 2000 to 2006 Toyota Tundra. The first-generation Toyota Tundra sometimes gets overshadowed by the Tacoma, but it deserves a lot of respect in its own right. This truck brought Toyota's durability reputation into the full-size segment, and for many owners, it delivered exactly what they hoped for. Strong, long-term dependability in a truck that felt solid, simple, and trustworthy. The first-gen Tundra was never really about chasing extremes. It did not need to be the flashiest or the most aggressive truck in the segment. Its strength was that it gave customers a full-size pickup they could feel confident owning for the long haul. That kind of confidence is a huge part of why certain trucks become legends. People remember the ones that gave them fewer surprises, fewer major headaches, and more years of dependable service. The Tundra may not always get the same hype as some domestic heavy hitters, but when toughness and long-term reliability are the focus, it absolutely earns a place here. 2005 to 2021 Nissan Frontier. Closing out the list is the Nissan Frontier, a truck that built its reputation in a very different way. The Frontier stayed on the market for a long time with a formula that was simple, proven, and familiar. In an era when many vehicles became more complex, the Frontier often benefited from sticking with what worked. That made it a strong choice for customers who cared less about having the newest features and more about having a truck that felt durable, usable, and straightforward to own. And that is really the theme running through this whole video. Tough trucks usually earn their reputation by doing the basics well, over and over again, without turning ownership into a constant project. The Frontier may not always be the first truck people bring up in these conversations, but it absolutely built a reputation as one of the tougher and more dependable mid-size pickups of its time. Modern-day bonus, the current Tacoma. And before we close, here is one modern truck worth mentioning. If you are looking at the current market, the Toyota Tacoma still deserves real respect as one of the more trusted reliability picks you can buy today. Consumer Reports says the redesigned Tacoma improved from below-average predicted reliability to above average, which is a strong rebound for a newer truck generation. Consumer Reports. That matters because newer trucks are not always getting simpler. In fact, pickup trucks as a whole ranked as the least reliable vehicle type in Consumer Reports' latest brand-level survey, which makes a solid current Tacoma story stand out even more. Consumer Reports. So, no, it is not the same kind of legend as some of the old-school trucks in this video. It has not had 30 years to prove itself yet. But if you want a modern truck that still carries real long-term trust, the Tacoma is one of the strongest names in the conversation right now. Consumer Reports. These trucks came from different eras, different brands, and different philosophies. Some were basic workhorses. Some brought diesel durability to the mainstream. Some proved that long-term ownership matters more than big launch day numbers. But they all have one thing in common. They earned respect. They earned it from owners, from workers, from fleets, from families, and from the people who depended on them not just once, but year after year. That is what makes a truck truly tough. If I missed your favorite truck, drop it in the comments. And subscribe for more. This has been Realm of Speed, and these are the toughest trucks ever made. And if one legendary truck did not make the list, there is a good chance somebody is already typing it in the comments.